You know, this Sunday is TLC 2013. And a lot of people have come out here on the YWC YouTube and on the internet and have basically said that they feel it's a little too soon to do a unification match, a unified match. And a lot of people agree with them and a lot of people don't agree with them. But, despite what happens, a lot of people are already speculating on how this match is going to end. And quite frankly, you can't blame them for speculating this way. You can't blame them for feeling that it's going to go a certain way. See, there's numerous finishes of how it's going to go down. Reports are WWE's already come up with a finish and they're sticking with it. Yeah, let's see how long that lasts up till Sunday. But when I hear something like that, though, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, that when someone like myself or anybody else out there hears something like that, and you hear the WWE's come up with a finish and that they're sticking with it, it pretty much tells you we're going to get a finish that we may not like. It tells you we can end up getting a finish that basically a lot of people are speculating about. And that speculation is we're just going to have a swapping of the belts. That's all we're going to have. Now, hopefully we're wrong about that. Hopefully we're wrong, and WWE doesn't do that. Hopefully they follow through on what they say and give us a unified champion. But that's one of the most speculated and most talked about results or endings to TLC that many fans are feeling is going to happen. Now, a lot of fans like myself are even wondering if maybe we'll get a swerve involving Triple H. And people like Jeff Sheagle, the Schleg Daddy over at OTRS, and several others, I'm sure the British Fist and Tree of Woe, and others out there, have pretty much assumed the same thing that Jeff's assuming, and that Jeff and anybody else would assume, that Triple H will ride himself into the match. He'll say, because this is from a realistic standpoint a possibility. Triple H could ride himself into the match and say, the only reason I'm getting involved is to make sure we don't get a screw up and we have one champion between you two. And yet you could have Triple H, seeing both men are down, then take the advantage to go like, okay, lower it, grab the belts and become unified champion. Or climb up there, grab the belts and basically say he swerved everybody because now he's champion. Or whatever. I've even thought about another possibility, and that possibility is you could have Daniel Bryan and CM Punk interfere in this match. And here's what I mean. They're setting up for CM Punk Triple H down the line. They're setting up for Daniel Bryan HBK down the line, or even Daniel Bryan Triple H. So what better way to really get that going and really ignite that going into the WrestleMania season than to have them interfere in this match? The way I look at it is if they would go a route to where these two interfere, both climb up the ladder, both retrieve the championship belts, and then leave, that would be something interesting, because then, storyline-wise, you could have them holding the belts. You could have CM Punk saying, hey, I got this in my contract, and I got such and such in my contract, so I could do this. And I could do. Basically, you have CM Punk go like, "Oh, I got such and such in my contract, so I can do this, and so can Daniel." And you can have him maybe add a stipulation, or maybe say, "Hey, look, you want us to give these belts back? Add us to a match at Royal Rumble between the four of us." And by the way, add the stipulation that if we win, only the pure wrestlers, the pro wrestlers, get a shot at these titles from now. For the next year or so, get a shot at this title for the next year. While guys like Cena and Orton and yourself and Sheamus and Big Show and whatever stay out of the title picture. Now I know that's kind of a wild card possibility, but it's still a possibility. If you really want to start that CM Punk Triple H rivalry or Daniel Bryan Triple H rivalry, it's still a strong possibility. But again, like I said in the audio video I mentioned the week that this match was announced. The reason this is happening is because it's being done as a publicity stunt. It's being done as a publicity stunt because WWE knows they screwed up time after time after time after time. And now they're doing whatever it takes to get people's attention. They know that if they don't come up with a good match that people are going to find interesting, or in their minds are going to intrigue the fans, they're going to lose that fan base. They're going to lose those viewers. They're going to lose those ratings. They're going to lose those buy rates. So they got to do whatever it takes to make it happen. To make it happen. In other words, make fans come back to them. So if they got to come out and say, oh, we're going to make a unification match happen, so be it. But still, the way I look at it, again, hopefully I'm wrong, but there's so many scenarios. They're keeping secret, obviously, keeping secret. But there's so many speculations and scenarios and endings to this match that are either going to please the fans or it's going to piss them off. And right now, if you were to put a poll out, if you were to put a poll out of what finish is going to happen in this TLC match, the leading candidate in that poll would be swapping of belts, probably followed by Triple H, possibly followed by Daniel Bryan and CM Punk interfering. Just a thought. But if you were to have people vote on a finish, put a poll out, if you will, and ask them to vote on which they think is going to be the finish, they're going to go with that swapping of the belts. You know, and what could happen as a result of that? Well, you could have Vince McMahon show up the next night and say, we're going to shake things up again, and we're going to do the brand extension one more time. And there you would go. I could be wrong, but again, these are all just scenarios. But again, if you do a poll of what finish people feel is going to occur in that unification match, swapping of the belts would be right at the top. Triple H adding himself in as a so-called insurance measure to make sure there's no screwball finish and becoming champion is there too. And right at the bottom would be actually having a unified champion. So that's about it. That's about it, and that's how I see it happening. And let me know what you guys think.